with the 48, the well or depth in your conscious core essence or your personality sun, we have tension, depth, and endeavor. This is our third variation of tension. And Ra loved this particular 48th gate because it's black magic. There's so much depth here. What happens in the logical stream, so when you look at the body graph and you go from the 58 up to the 18, 48 over to the 16, the 58 is that fuel and that vitality. The 18 is saying, all of these things need to be corrected. And the 48 is just taking all of those corrective actions, putting it into this depth and creating solutions. Now, not every solution is going to be pulled out and then enthusiastically brought out into the world in the 16, just isn't. So there's black magic that happens here. There's a depth of clarity, and that depth is what's necessary for it is for the 16 to identify with one of those solutions and bring out the talent of that entire channel and be able to present those solutions to the world. Now, the 48 can have lots of bitterness and frustration deep within it because it can't always get every solution out. And not every solution is going to be practical to be brought out. So we want to be able to recognize that skills are how we are going to manifest and verify that that solution really works. So most people with the 48 who don't have the 16 feel like they need to collect skills, that they have to collect skills, which then creates a ton of tension in their bodies because they feel like they cannot rely on their depth. And really what this particular incarnation cross, the whole thing of it, is to recognize that your depth, when you relax into your depth, then you will meet the correct skills to get your passions and your talent out into the world. So relax into your depth. That's really your purpose, is to be able to see that you do not need to collect any more skills. Those skills will come into your life. So focus on relaxing and just be able to implement what is necessary for you in your life based off of your inner authority. Utilize that depth. People will come and pull that depth out. They know you have those solutions. They know you have all of this wisdom inside of there. Just relax. But I see it. I see it all the time. I see 48s without the 16 that are clamoring constantly to pick up more skills instead of relaxing into their own depth. So that's your purpose. Relax into your own depth, because what you have in there, you have centuries and eons and lifetimes, and you have everything right back from the 0 point lying in this well. All of the corrective actions that have needed to be taken. You got it all. Now let somebody pull out and draw from that well. And who is in your life is going to be really, really important. Because the ones that draw from your well, they're the ones that are going to be able to be enthusiastic and bring this out into the world. And then when we get to the juxtaposition cross of depth, ambition shows up here. All of a sudden, the 39 and 38 change to the 53 and 54. So whenever we have ambition show up, there's a motivation that shows up. In other words, it is depth, but depth as an advantage, because the 54 is always to be recognized and noticed. So the more people that you guys have in your circle, if you're a juxtaposition cross of depth, the more you're going to impact, to be influential, to be recognized for your depth. But then again, these are the people who carry a very narrow aspect because there's not many of them. They're here to just show that depth. Commune with others. Be lost in the depth. That's it. That's all that it is for you. And it's a very fixed theme. So dive deep into that depth because you will be noticed. And then new beginnings can flower through you for you to implement that depth. And then we get to the left angle cross of endeavor. This is where this all takes its full nature, is when you move into the transpersonal piece, always. This is the second variation of endeavor. So here you have the driving force, the driving need to actually do something with that depth. So remember how frustrating it is to carry the 48? You could solve all the world's problems, but nobody's listening because they need to be able to draw it out of you. They need to be ready for it. Remember, this is in logic. And if logic's not ready to move into the future, then nobody's going to listen. And again, projected channel. So it needs to be invited. Not everybody's ready for it. So just because the cross of endeavor is here doesn't mean that they actually get to do whatever it is that's there in that depth. It may be what they want, and they want to be able to drive it, they want to be able to control it, but of course, there's a basic conflict that's going to happen here. Because we need to have this invited out of people. This drive to get the depth. It's logical. So naturally, these people need to be invited. They need to be elected in. They need to be recognized for that talent. They need to be seen for that talent. So there is this expediency, in a sense, to get that energy out, but it needs to be funded. It needs to be, the solutions need money to back it to get it moving forward. So really what happens here, one of the biggest wealth creations is self-publishing. Take control of it yourself and do the self-publishing aspect of your depth. So whatever you can control on your own to get it out into the world, that is the best aspect for you, to utilize your depth to do so. All right. Again, we'll coach on this. Lots of aspects here. I see this, the duality. There's so much potential and so many possibilities. Why? Because we are in that duality. We are in that bonding aspect. So we really have to look at the gate on the other side. Who's coming to us so that we can really fulfill these purposes by that interaction with the other.